Good afternoon, Franklin Township. This is PJ Parker from the Franklin Reporter and Advocate, and we are here today, very proud to be with Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, who is here today also at the Doubletree to celebrate Martin Luther King's Community Day here in Franklin Township. It's very rare that we have two auspicious events in the same day, and simultaneous to this Martin Luther King Day celebration, we have the inauguration of Donald J. Trump for his second term. And I know Bonnie Watson Coleman has a few comments about that very event today. And I'm going to let you just espouse Ms. Bonnie Watson Coleman.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. So, yes, today was the inauguration of Donald Trump for a second term. He certainly wasn't anyone that I had voted for, and I certainly don't think he's deserving of the title of president, but he won the election. And we believe in the peaceful transfer of power. And so it has culminated in his inauguration. And now we must be vigilant because he has promised, I think, very dangerous and very concerning policies that will affect the most vulnerable, that will affect negatively the cost of living, that will affect negatively access to housing, access to health care, and any kind of care for those who are working families or even those families who don't even have a job. And so we must pay attention to what he is proposing. We must stand up for immigrants who are leaving countries because of their safety and security or just seeking a better life in the United States of America. We must make sure that the laws are working for people. I know that there are people who are disappointed because they don't feel that the laws have worked for Donald Trump. This is an unusual situation, but I believe in the power of prayer and I believe in the power of steadfastness, and we shall be steadfast in our actions and in our prayers.
It's very gracious of you. We as citizens do not have the power that is vested in you to be one of the members who makes a difference in our Congress. Do you have any suggestions or any insights as to moving forward what can be done if you do indeed see and experience injustices?
Well, there in both houses is a very slim majority. So in most cases, they're going to need votes from Democrats to pass legislation. And I think that we've already communicated that we'll not engage in anything that is harmful to this nation's safety and security, that is not supportive of the cost of living and the access to health care for those who need it, and that is improperly dealing with immigrants. So I have got to believe that in the 435 seat House, in the House of Representatives, and in the 100 seats in the Senate, that there are a few Republicans that are going to stand for what is righteous.
And how do we define righteous?
Making sure that we are treating people with equity, making sure that resources go where they need to go, making sure that unnecessary conditions are not being levied upon, let's say, a California, responding to that apocalyptic fire that they experienced, making sure that our country is respecting the relationships in NATO and of other nations. And so we know what righteous is and we know what unrighteous is. It is very clear to people, and we just need them to understand. Pay attention to the things that they're proposing, and then think about them at your kitchen table. How have they helped you? Did they do anything to ensure that you have better working hours, better working conditions, better working wages? Did they ensure that you had health care? Did they ensure that there's adequate housing available? Those things are very foundational. And we must be alert to looking at what they are doing and saying and proposing to apply our limited resources. It cannot be just to make billionaires richer. It's got to be for the rest of the country.
Well, we as humble citizens sit on the periphery and sometimes right in the vortex of what is actually going on, and we are the ones who are affected uh, in possibly a very devastating way. See something, say something. Does that apply, and how so? And without putting you on the spot, are people able to engage you within your office for help?
Absolutely. I'm here to help as much as I can. And so is every other legislator in Washington D.C. And every legislator has an office in the state or in the district in which they represent, as well as in Washington. And we all need to hear from the constituents in our respective districts and states as to what they need, what they want, what they're seeing, and what they don't agree with.
And so what would you suggest to our broad population in Franklin Township, which exceeds 70,000 strong, of over 65 houses of worship and languages spoken in the homes, in the schools? We're the probably second most diverse area in all of New Jersey. And we're going to feel this. We're definitely going to feel this. And some will feel it more than others. What concretely can someone do to affect change?
Stand up for your neighbor, speak up for your neighbor,
Mhm,
and be there when your neighbor is most in need.
mhm,
We're all in this together.
mhm.
There is a haves and a have nots, and there's no in between. So, all of us who care about one another, who care about our communities, who care about the safety and security of our country, who care about the relationships that we forge with other countries, we must stand up and we must be heard. And we can do that collectively.
How does someone reach your office?
Calling, texting, emailing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm listed.
Okay. Do you want to share that or
Well,
can,
I'll share the local number 609 883 0026. I barely call it. I call the individuals on staff. So that's 883 0026.
Mhm. And I know personally several people who we have referred to your office for assistance, and they've all come back and said, Bonnie Watson Coleman made it happen. And I know that is your reputation, and I know that is your zeal and your goal.
Well, I tell you, I've got an amazing staff in New Jersey and in DC, and they're very committed, very compassionate, very smart, and very hardworking. So if you bring an issue to them, they're going to try to find a way to help you.
Mhm. And that's why Franklin welcomes Bonnie Watson Coleman every time she graces us with her dignity, with her intellect, and with her legislative acumen that is just extraordinary. We so appreciate it. And Franklin, the advice always is not only if you see something, you say something. It is not just my problem. It is not just your problem. It is our problem. We are a unit, we are a community, and we want to see all of us and each of us thrive, not just survive, in this very challenging climate that is beginning as of today. So, again, Bonnie Watson Coleman, thank you so much once again for sharing your time with us at the
Well,
Franklin Reporter.
thank you for giving us time to
Mhm,
have this discussion.
mhm,
My best to you and to all who listen. God
mhm,
bless.
mhm. Thank you, Bonnie Watson Coleman. We appreciate it. This is PJ Parker, Franklin Reporter and Advocate, saying,